Hello everyone, welcome back. I was thinking the other day, I was on a job and I'd basically just gone there to change a couple of sockets for a customer in their kitchen, and they informed me that the local kitchen fitter, the kitchen fitter that fitted their kitchen for them, had changed the fuse board. Now, I've seen this time and time again, and I'm going to come off the bat and say I don't agree with it. I don't like it. I don't agree with it. I don't think it's safe. I think it's really dangerous, to be honest. Now, I'm not saying that because I do that high and mighty thing. And I was like, I'm an electrician, so therefore I should be the only one changing your fuse boards. I mean, that is partly true, but it's not the only reason. Now, how do I word this? Fuse boards aren't something that can be jokingly installed, okay? There's a reason us electricians spend so long doing an apprenticeship, have to learn so much theory, have to spend all this money on training and regulations, is so we know how to correctly install this stuff, why we install it, and what happens if we don't do it correctly. That's literally it. And I find normally when other trades say, I'll change a fuse board, it's built on ignorance. It's like a little bit of knowledge is a very dangerous thing. And I'm sure there's plenty of other trades out there, plenty of other DIYs that fit their own fuse board and it's perfectly safe. But it's very rare we actually come across that. And the main reason is fuse boards, you've got to think of it as being the brain of your entire house's electrics. That's what they are. They're the brain. What they do is they take a big incoming power supply and they differentiate it to the correct sources, so that nothing combusts, nothing sets on fire, nothing burns, nothing breaks, nothing gives someone electric shock. All turns off correctly as and when you need it in the event of a problem. That's what they do, okay? And if they're installed wrong, they might not actually work the way you need them in the event of a problem. This is what a lot of people don't understand. Like all these... In fact, wait there. I've got something somewhere. Yeah, here we are. So, this is some internal gubbins of a fuse board we've replaced recently. Now, as you can see, they've all got numbers on them, yeah? Now, them numbers dictate what size cable can go on it, okay? Because them numbers dictate how much current will be allowed to flow through. The way fuse boards work, this buzz bar at the bottom carries about 100 amps normally. Now, the 100 amp comes through the bottom, and depending on this number, depends how many amps flow through the top. It's the easy way of understanding it. So if that's 16, that means 100 comes in at the bottom, it only allows 16 out of the top. Now the reason it'll only allow a certain amount at the top depends on the thickness of the copper wire that's connected. Now 16 amp really would be about 2.5mm cable. Because 2.5mm cable can take a maximum of 24 amps, I believe, before they believe that the current's too much, the thickness of the copper cable can't take it, and then you run the risk that the copper cable will start melting, or breaking, or burning out, or anything like that, because the load is exceeding what it can take. So, I've gone to fuse boards. I went to one 2 weeks ago, and I was quoting a job, and I couldn't leave it for customers, so I swapped some parts around the fuse board for them free of charge, because what they had is they had a 32. Okay, now 32 is normally a 6mm cable wants to be connected onto that. And it had a 1mm coming out of it. Now 1mm can take about 11. So you've got nearly 3 times the amount of current flowing through a cable it can take. That's a fire hazard. That is actually a fire hazard. In the regulations book, that will go down as a fail. And this is what I'm saying is a problem. It's not just about I can change a fuse board because it looks like them cables going to there and I'm done. It's knowing the best practices, it's knowing the reasons we do stuff, and it's knowing what can happen if it goes wrong. I find so many people, because they're not aware of the problems, they can go home and sleep like a baby. We know the problem, I can't morally leave it. I know if I left that thing, that something could go wrong, and someone's life could be at risk. Or, I don't know, the roof could burn down, or anything like that. So, yeah, this is why I'm saying that just because someone can say they can do a job doesn't mean they should. And that's before we even get into the fact of building control regulations, which means we've got other areas to follow. Like if you've had your house rewired, that has to be notified to building control. Now, because we're members of an awarding scheme, we can notify to building control for like £3.50. If you're not, it's going to cost you about £300 or £400. And if you don't notify building control, your property means it's not up to regulation. So in the event of a problem, like, I don't know, your house burns down and it's been proved that it's because of work that was done incorrectly and not notified to building control, there's a good chance your house insurance won't pay out. They will just be null and void because of it. Which, let's face it, no one wants. So yeah, I'm not saying I am saying the Cowboys, really, because it's very ignorant. Like, that's what they're doing. Like, I'm not against it, okay? I am against it. Sorry, I'm rambling here because I'm trying to come from a perspective where it doesn't sound like we're just saying, because it sounds like we're just saying, oh, because we want the work. No, I just want people's houses to be safe, okay? There's more than enough work out there for us electricians, okay? We don't want people to be at risk, though. And as many people we can help, the better. And yeah, I mean, this is, okay, they'll tell you a story. This is the reason it came in. So you may have noticed the modern fuse boards now are all metal. And as well as being metal, we have to use a thing called a torque screwdriver. So it's a screwdriver, but it's got a torque setting. And every single screw in the fuse board has to be tightened up to a certain tightness, okay? Now, the reason both of these have come in as regulations now, well, one's a regulation, one's a recommendation, is because, I shouldn't laugh actually, it's terrible, about 7 or 8 years ago, there was a case of a few fuse boards in the country that actually melted. And the reason they'd found to be melted is that DIYs or non-qualified electricians, or even some electricians actually must have been involved, were changing fuse boards and not tightening the cables up to the correct torque setting. So they would tighten them up, but it's normally just hand tight, they weren't tight enough. And what was happening is it was causing a loose connection. Now, there's a saying in the industry that loose wires cause fires, okay? And it's no different. That's what was happening. These loose wires were causing a fire inside the fuse board, normally through overheat through a loose connection or arcing, where electricity jumps between 2 points. And what was happening, because they're plastic, it was melting the fuse board, which meant then the fire got out of the fuse board and spread to the rest of the house. And yeah, I've personally seen it a few times. I've gone and helped other electricians that have been on the work where the same thing happened. It's horrible. It's actually really terrifying, particularly when you think of the location of most fuse boards. They are normally in a hallway, which is your main fire escape. It's really dangerous. That's what they are. Or they're in a cupboard in a kitchen with, wooden cupboards everywhere. That's very flammable. So that's why we fit metal fuse boards, because that way if a fire starts, it stays inside the fuse board. It can't spread. And it also means that the torque screwdrivers mean they're done to manufacturer specification. They shouldn't come undone. But that's it. I mean, that's things that we know as electricians, because we're told it on the regulation updates, on new training, or stuff like that. Your local kitchen fitter isn't. Your local DIYer isn't. They're not going on this stuff. They can do a YouTube search and try and find a video, but it doesn't. Every property is different. You need to self-survey it as an electrician. Now, what I will say is, one, normally they're cheaper if you go down to a DIYers, which is a big factor. I'm not going to dispute that. Price is a massive factor. But what I will say is, if you shop around and you actually ask the electricians you get quotes from, and you speak to them and you say to them, like, look, this is my budget, I don't want to spend a fortune, they will come back to you with recommendations. They may offer to change the brand. They may offer to put in a lower spec fuse board. They may come to some negotiation with the pricing. They may offer finance like we do. And they will try and help out where you can. And if you haven't found one of them electricians, keep shopping around. Keep asking people. Keep trying to find something. I mean, yeah, it'll probably still be a bit more expensive. It won't be that expensive. And then also look at it as it's safety at the end of the day. I mean, if you drive your car everywhere, would you really trust your mate from down the road to replace the engine? Because I certainly wouldn't. I'd want to take it to a reputable garage, know the work's been done correctly, and also you get that sense of liability. So, if your kitchen fitter changes the fuse board and something goes wrong, his liability insurance will not cover him for that work. It won't. So if you try to sue them, you're not going to be able to do anything. You're not going to be able to get money. Maximum you probably do is get them a prison sentence, because it is dangerous. I doubt the courts are ever going to award a fine because of it. But the thing is, we've got public liability insurance for the work we do. There's a reason we don't do roofing work, because if it went wrong, our liability doesn't cover us. There's a reason we don't use blow lamps, because our insurance won't cover us. But what they do cover us on is faults caused by electrics. So if your house burned down from a job we did, you can sue us. I think our public liability is up to £10 million. Okay? You could sue us for the full amount if need be. And if it was awarded, you'd be paid correctly through our insurance company. That's the point of the insurance. You don't get that if you go with someone who's not qualified. I mean, unless they can prove and they can actually show you this is our public liability insurance, you're protected. If not, why would you want someone like that working on your house? Don't get me wrong, he's got insurance for the kitchen probably. And he's probably got insurance for building work, but he probably won't have insurance for electrical work. And therefore, he shouldn't be touching electrical work. So you wouldn't send a carpenter to change a boiler just because gas is highly regulated. So I would say the best way to avoid these in the first place is to use... I'd probably avoid recommendations from friends and family. Okay, not unless you actually know, like they're an electrician that your friend used and you know they are and you can fact check them. I personally would probably use an online search. Now, online search will chance are most tradespeople have some type of social media page. They have a Google page, they have an email address, website, or stuff like that now. If not, you can normally find them on a, depending what type of company they serve, they may be on Company's House if they're limited. But if they're an electrician and they're with an awarding scheme, which they should be, then you can normally go to that awarding scheme's website and search that company in their database. So we'll remember the NIC EIC. Now, if you went to the NIC EIC's website and you search Falcon Innovations, it will bring up our company. It'll bring up our company, our address, and what we're qualified to do. So what awarding scheme we're with. You've got domestic installers, approved contractors, PAT testers, solar installers, stuff like that. And they'll say what we're qualified to do. And you've got Stormer, you've got Alexa, you've got Napit, all same principle. Search a company on them. And they'll basically show you, are they within a awarding scheme? Are they qualified to do the work? And it gives you that extra level of confidence. So yeah, that's basically it. If you want to avoid the cowboys, go down that route. You can go down the route after you know that of searching tradesmen's online sites. So Rated People, Check a Trade, My Builder, Bark. Pardon me. And they will normally have... They're a great way to find local trades. Also, they have a very good review system I find on their website. Particularly Check a Trade, we were very impressed with. And yeah, it gives you that extra level of confidence. It also, because in order to be a member of them in the first place, tradespeople, sorry, I'm still really trying to break that habit of just calling everyone tradesmen when they're tradespeople. You know, modern world. To be a member of Check a Trade or a few of these other sites, we have to pay a monthly subscription to it. Or they have a thing where, as the lead comes through, we have to pay a one-off fee for the contact details of the customer. So we can get the number, the email address, and contact them to book in a quote to do their work. And that sort of shows a commitment on the tradesperson side. They're committed to winning your work. They're committed to buying the details to contact you to do your work. And that gives you add a level of peace. I doubt there's going to be... I mean, let's face it, because of the cost, the financial cost, you're normally going to only go for leads that you know are going to be really good, profitable jobs for you. Jobs that you know, you're confident with, and stuff like that. So I'll only use Check a Trade to bid for a rewire or a fuse board upgrade or an EV charger because I know them works. I'm confident them works. I'm not going to do it to try and replumb in someone's central heating system because I don't know them works. And it's not going to be worth the £10 it's going to cost to gain some customer details. So yeah. Plus, these sites, normally you have to provide certification to even join. So I think for Check a Trade, we had to submit our qualifications, our physical qualification certificates, to even be able to have our page approved to be able to be published on their website. So again, gives that extra added confidence. So yeah, hope it's been helpful. A little bit of a rant, but kind of more just to make people aware of what's involved in certain jobs, why certain people shouldn't be doing stuff like that. I mean, somewhere we've probably got other videos on our page talking about prices, talking about how to find tradespeople, how much we charge, how much other electricians charge, why we charge what they do, why we charge certain amounts for certain jobs, stuff like that. So if you need any help or advice, by all means, comment below, get in touch. We'll try and help out wherever we can. Also, comment below. Let us know your thoughts. Do you think we're being snobby here? And just saying, well, only electricians should be doing electrical work and blah, blah, blah. It's not really fair. Or, well, I do the work, but I do it completely correct. And like I said, I'm not just being that. Some people actually do electrical work themselves that aren't electricians and it's done correct. Okay? Mainly because they really research it. In fact, if you're ever stuck, get in touch with us. By all means, get in touch if you've got any questions. We'll try and help out as best we can. Obviously, our channel is not it's not a how-to guide, because that's a lot of liability we get stuck involved in. It's more just us talking, promoting our company brand, things like that. But yeah, let us know your thoughts. And as always, like and subscribe, because it helps us grow, helps us reach more people, and means we'll carry on making all this content. So yeah, all the best. Catch you later.